How's it going, everybody? 2Spooky here, and it is currently 5:09 a.m., and I just decided out of nowhere that I wanted to tell you guys yet another little story. You guys seem to like the last story video I did about the scariest thing to ever happen to me. So it is basically official that story videos will be a consistent thing on this channel. There will be no upload schedule for them. They'll just be put out in between my upload schedule whenever I feel like it, basically. But anyways, guys, the story that I'm going to be telling you today is about the first encounter I ever had with a shiny Pokemon in the Pokemon games, respectively. Now, I feel that this story might be a little bit longer than it should be, merely because of all the background information I'm going to be giving you guys, so just bear with me. Now, I believe this occurred about 4 years ago, around the 2012 area. So basically, to start off the story, I need to introduce a friend of mine. Now, I don't know how he would feel about me using his real name. Honestly, I'm sure he'd be fine with it, but just for the sake of that, we are going to call him Albert. What a bad name. But anyways, Albert here would be considered my best friend. I basically lived at his house every couple of weekends, and we did nothing but play video games, watch YouTube videos, movies, and just stay up all hours of the night, and then get no sleep the next day. And you know what? It was awesome. His neighborhood and the land accompanied with it was also awesome, and we would go outside and do a bunch of other stuff, either during the day or at night. It's just full of fun stuff. Him and his family were basically like a second family to me, and I spent a lot of time there. So basically, this day is like any other day. It was more than likely a weekend, and I was going to be staying over at Albert's house for an undisclosed amount of time. And I don't exactly remember why we decided to go here, but we ended up going to an off-brand GameStop to look for a video game or something. And what I mean by off-brand GameStop is basically a GameStop that is locally owned, but it's not actually a GameStop. It's a different place that sells video games and stuff. You get the idea. So Albert and I went to this off-brand GameStop, and we're browsing around in the stuff, and then we come across, I don't remember if it was Pokemon White or White 2. If I remember correctly, I believe that it was White 2. So we'll just say it was Black and White 2 for the sake of this video. But anyways, we struck up a conversation about Pokemon, and Albert was talking about how he heard that Generation 5 wasn't as great, but he really wants to get back into playing Pokemon. Now see, I myself hadn't played Pokemon since Emerald at this point. I completely skipped Generation 4 and 5. So while I was there browsing with him, we came across Heart Gold and Soul Silver. And a bunch of nostalgia and other memories just came crashing down on the both of us, so we both caved in and decided to get Heart Gold and Soul Silver. See, after this story becomes a little hazy to me, because I don't remember if this happened all in the same weekend or if it occurred in two separate occasions, but we're just going to group it together for one weekend for the sake of the story. So anyways, we stopped at my house, I grabbed my DS, and then we went back to his house and did nothing but play Pokemon for however long I was there. But anyways, while we were playing, I had gotten to the point where I was at the Victory Road. And if you've never played Pokemon before, I don't know why you're watching this video, but if you've never played Pokemon before, the goal of the game is to collect all the gym badges, and then you have to defeat these people called the Elite Four and the champion to basically become the champion of that Pokemon region yourself. And Victory Road is the area right before the Elite Four. So I'm here, and I'm training up my Dragonair so that it can evolve into a Dragonite, because I figured having a Dragonite would be very beneficial. So I'm just grinding out them levels, battle after battle, when then suddenly, something happened to me that has never happened before. A Donphan appeared on my screen, but it was no ordinary Donphan. This Donphan was a fucking shiny. Now, I didn't know very much about shinies. I was aware of their existence, but I didn't know too much about them considering that I'd never encountered one before, and I hadn't been playing Pokemon for a very long time. So anyways, I initially automatically started freaking out, and Albert's like, whoa, that's really freaking cool. You gotta catch it and stuff. And let me just say that I was very overwhelmed. So I have this shiny Donphan on my screen, and it's glaring me right in the eyes. And I swear I heard, "Catch me, I fucking dare ya." So I was also very intimidated. But anyways, I had been obviously encountering Donphans left and right before this because I was grinding in Victory Road. And I had been previously using the move Aqua Tail on these Donphans, and Aqua Tail would always bring them down to a sliver of health, but it would never kill them. So I thought to myself, if I use Aqua Tail on this, it will become very weak, and then I can catch it much easier. And this turned out to be the worst decision I would ever make in my entire life. So instead of doing the smart thing and just trying to throw Pokeballs at it, I decided to use Aqua Tail. And you know, I'm expecting Aqua Tail to bring it down to a sliver of health, so I'm just watching it, just watching the bar drain, and drain, and drain, and then it was gone. I couldn't believe my eyes. I just killed the shiny. But that doesn't make any sense because Aqua Tail was just supposed to bring it down to a sliver of health. What happened? I looked down at the bottom of my screen. Critical hit. I got a fucking critical hit on the first shiny I had ever encountered, and I killed it. Now my first reaction was to just turn off my DS and try again, but then I remembered that shinies aren't like a legendary Pokemon where you can just spam them and reset your DS and try to catch them over and over. You only get one chance. So needless to say, the fact that I killed this shiny Donphan has been single-handedly the worst thing to ever happen to me. So after I realized I killed it, I turned to Albert and I said, "I killed it." And I want to say that Albert was doing the smart thing and telling me to just throw a Pokeball at it instead of fighting it, because I want to say that I was vocalizing what I was going to do to this Donphan to him while he was playing his game. So Albert was obviously not surprised when he heard of this critical hit, and he burst into a fit of laughter, and I fell into a deep depression for many years. And that was the first encounter I've ever had with a shiny. Now, throughout the rest of my playthrough of Heart Gold, I did not encounter another shiny whatsoever. So needless to say, this was an extra sad experience. Also, for those of you who aren't too familiar with Pokemon or aren't too familiar with shinies, and I know some of you are like, "Come on, man. It's just a different colored Pokemon. It doesn't mean anything." Well, let me tell you something. With these shiny Pokemon, you only have a 1 in 8,192 chance of finding one in the wild, which in a percentage is 0.0122%. And this chance is for every single time you encounter a Pokemon. It doesn't stack up over time. So my 1 in 8,192 chance fucking drowned by my Aqua Tail. And because of that, I will never be the same. Not until I encounter and then catch a shiny Donphan. But now you must be asking yourself, well, 2Spooky, have you seen any shinies since then? Well, the answer to that question is yes. Yes, I have. See, with the release of the 6th generation, shiny Pokemon have been much easier to catch with numerous different ways, such as chain fishing. There's also a different way to chain them, I don't remember what it's called though. And then of course there's the shiny charm and the eggs and the Masuda, whatever you want to call it. But anyways, oddly enough, the next shiny Pokemon I encountered was at Victory Road. Now I figured since I'm probably never going to make a separate video about this, I would just go ahead and tell you guys this story as well. So anyways, I was at a school assembly, and obviously I was being too cool for school and not paying attention to what any of the stupid people were doing at this assembly, because really there's just no point to me for school assembly, so I was sitting there playing my Y version. But anyways, I was just doing my thing, training my Pokemon at Victory Road like I always do, when all of a sudden I came in contact with a shiny Girder. Now, Girder is by no means my favorite Pokemon, and I was barely aware of its existence before this, but I was completely flabbergasted by this shiny girder, so I instantly threw a quick ball and captured it right away. I was not wasting any time. And that became my first shiny. And I've caught plenty of shinies since then. I went on a little shiny hunting spree for a while there. But yeah, I will still never be the same because of that shiny Donphan. And for those of you out there who have not yet encountered a shiny, it will happen one day. And I feel I should leave you guys with some sort of advice. Now, if you see a shiny Pokemon, do not injure it because you will get a critical hit, it will die, and you will fall into a deep, crippling depression for at least 4 years of your life. But anyways guys, that is going to do it for today's story. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, because if you do, there is a 1 in 8,192 chance that you will encounter your very own shiny Pokemon. So make sure to leave that like or your chances will be even slimmer. Also make sure to subscribe for future story videos and for my other fact videos and top 10s. Got plenty more content on the way. In fact, on June 12th, which is only a couple days away from now, the top 10 Paramecia Devil Fruits video will be coming. So be on the lookout for that, and I would just like to thank you guys for sticking to the end of this video, and for all the support I've had lately. We just hit 43,000 subscribers, and we're very close to 44,000. So thank you so much. The week of 50s will be here soon, and I'm honestly not prepared. But as always guys, if you cannot get enough 2Spooky content, well why don't you click here for my previous story video, the scariest thing that has ever happened to me. And if you still want some stories but you don't want to hear my stupid stories, well why don't you click here for 3 creepy and scary stories from X, which is a board on 4chan. Anyways guys, as always, thank you for watching, and I will see you very soon.